Hello everyone, welcome back to Kanga TV, the home of North Melbourne fans. Today is Wednesday the 23rd of October and I'm here to talk about North Melbourne's potential new home away from home. So for the better part of 25 years, North have been selling home games interstate here, there and everywhere. We've been in Sydney, Canberra, the Gold Coast, and most recently we've been selling games to Hobart, Tasmania. Since 2012, North has been selling home games to Tasmania. It started out as 3 games a season in Hobart, and in recent years we increased that to 4. It was at the start of Fortress. North would barely lose a game down at Bellerive Oval. However, in recent years, as North's form has faltered, so has the results down in Tasmania, and unfortunately fans down in Hobart haven't really enjoyed the same success as they did when the deal was first struck. Now, with the Tassie Devils set to come into the competition in the next few seasons, time is running out for North to abandon their deal with Tasmania and look to reallocate those home games elsewhere. I just want to start off by saying I've been extremely vocal in recent seasons about how I would like us to reallocate all of our home games back to Melbourne, especially at the MCG, if there was a possibility to increase the amount of games that we play there. We only play 1 game a season at the G as it stands. We were set to play 3 games at the MCG in 2021, but that obviously fell to pieces due to COVID, and we've never been able to regain those sorts of numbers there. And as a Melbourne-based club, a Victorian-based club, I think it is really important for us to focus on growing our supporter base here. I understand it is a national competition, but we're a Victorian-based club. We're the smallest Victorian-based club by quite a significant amount. And if we can't win games on field and play in front of a strong home base in Melbourne at least 15, 16 times a year, I think we are putting ourselves at a significant disadvantage, more of a disadvantage that we already are at. Last night, Channel 7's Mitch Cleary reported that North could look to sell one of their home games to Perth and play a home game at Optus Stadium against either a West Coast or a Fremantle. Now, there isn't really much more to this report at this stage. I don't know if this would mean we play 3 games in Tasmania and 1 game in Perth from next season and then look to make that transition. I don't know how many games we would look to play interstate long term beyond when our deal ends in Hobart, but it does seem like a reasonable solution at this stage. The second largest North Melbourne supporter base outside of Melbourne is in WA. We do have quite a strong following over there. We do run the risk anyway of getting 2 games in Perth. It's not unheard of that sides have to go to Perth multiple times a season to play both Fremantle and West Coast. So if we could just nip it in the bud, commit ourselves to playing 2 games a year at Optus Stadium, where we do have quite a good record in recent seasons. We have defeated West Coast and Fremantle over in WA in recent years. So I don't see this as a terrible solution. It's probably the first solution that I've seen for quite some time that actually does make some sense, and it does strike me as something that would be beneficial for North. I don't foresee any, and I don't want to predict the future because anything can happen, and where North is selling home games, relocation talk always follows them. However, I do see this as being a really sensible solution. We've got a great supporter base over in WA. We would draw a really, really strong crowd, I think, if we were to sell a home game there per season, and then you just kind of get it out of the way. Potentially it means that we travel less. We could potentially bring more home games to Melbourne, and maybe the amount of money that we would receive for playing the 1 game there a season would be enough to cover the costs. I guess it is just concerning from my perspective. I feel like we're in a strong enough financial position off field now that we shouldn't need to look to sell games outside of Victoria, and we should probably reinvest that money and energy into growing our Victorian supporter base in what everyone knows is an extremely competitive market, and a market that we don't have a large share in. I would just love a little bit of clarity around this and how this deal would work from the club. What is the plan in terms of moving out of Hobart, moving into Perth? Do we bring the remaining game back to Melbourne? Are we looking at selling them elsewhere? I would just love a little bit of clarity so that we can understand exactly how this deal will impact fans at home in Melbourne and what it means for the rest of our home games moving forward. But those are just my initial thoughts, and now I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below what you think about North's new potential home away from home. You can also continue the conversation over on socials via Kanga TV Show on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget to like and subscribe for all the latest North news, analysis and fan reactions, and I will see you guys very soon.